In Law Firm Admin Bootcamp, one of the main things is always to replace yourself in your role.
I'm so tired of micromanaging. How do I train, manage, and lead? I can't find time to be visionary. Head down in the weeds.
This week, we have been having such breakthroughs in regards to replacing the attorney in the initial consultation. Some people call this a non-attorney salespeople. Some of you may be looking for a non-attorney salesperson. Maybe you're struggling with keeping a non-attorney salesperson. In Law Firm Admin Bootcamp, one of the main things is always to replace yourself in your role. So your team members, it's a great retention tool, are always growing, personal and professional development. So often when I'm in recruiting, I'll say to people, why are you looking for a new job? And they'll say, there's no opportunity for growth here. And so this week we had quite a few people that have said, I'm ready. I'm ready to replace my attorney in the initial consultation. Some of you call them vision meetings, discovery meetings, strategy meetings, regardless of what the terminal, it's a sales meeting. And I have client service coordinators who've been with the firm 16 months, 18 months, some less than that. And they've really owned their job. They've understand intake. They've understand what it takes to be a client success coordinator. They have modeled the teach, show, do, go, grow, which in Law Firm Admin Bootcamp means a shadow process where you're shadowing your attorney through every meeting. You're shadowing the paralegals through every meeting. And you're doing that from three perspectives. Number one, the attorney's role in the meeting. Number two, the prospective client's role in the meeting. And then number three, your role as a client service coordinator, intake coordinator in the meeting. And I have them do a pre-huddle with the attorney. Attorney says, okay, great, this meeting should be about 1 hour. Here's what you can expect. Here's where we issue spot. Here's where we get all the things that wake the client up at 2 o'clock in the morning. What brought you in to see an attorney today on the table? And then you will see where we transition into the close. And yes, we do use that terminology. We don't shy away from sales, close, conversions, hires, anything of that nature. And then after, I want you to debrief with me, employee. I want you to give me a presentation and tell me exactly what you witnessed in each of those meetings. So they get 3-5 of those under their belt, and they're like, great, I'm ready to take this over. It's very, very scary for attorneys. If this sounds soul crushing to you as an attorney, I want to invite you, when you go into your next initial consultation, to see where you are giving away legal advice, where you are counseling before you even have an engagement agreement in hand, before you even have been retained and you have a check. I remember my very, very first coach, when I was struggling with sales and conversions and things of that nature as my business was growing, she'd have me walk through my process and what have you. And she's like, okay, what would people say to you at the end of your discovery session is what I call them, or what have you. I'm like, they would have pages of notes. They would say to me, thank you so much for this coaching session. And she's like, you jumped the shark. They should not be saying, thank you so much for all this information. I have so much already that came out of you that I need to go home and process this. I need to go home and really start implementing some of the things. You were giving them too much homework. You were giving them too much wisdom and advice that there really was no reason for them to retain you. So really understanding the line of delineation. Once it moves into legal counsel, and you do not have an engagement agreement, some people are doing the sales meeting and then moving right into, okay, let's get moving and let's start crafting your plan for whatever it might be. But they don't have an engagement agreement. They do not have money in hand, and they take it at the next meeting. I am not a huge fan of that because it's very difficult to grow and scale. The attorney's responsible for every single meeting during that. And when you can empower a team member, or maybe you have a team member that is ready to step up and lead, you just split your meetings into 2 meetings. So what's the difference? Well, now if you don't have every single person hire, which you're not having anyways until that second meeting, you're okay with that because your time as an attorney, you spend so much time in law school. You spend so much money getting this very coveted law degree or what have you. People should not be able to meet with you until they pay to see the wizard, to see the guru, to see the rock star, if you will. So this week it's so exciting because they're like, I'm a little bit scared to start taking this over as the attorney. They're like, what if our conversion rates go down? I'm like, well, your conversion rates aren't real anyways, because at initial meeting you're doing so much work and you don't collect the engagement agreement or the check till the second meeting possibly. So we're really going to get real data, and you're okay if they go down because you're booked out 3 weeks. You're the bottleneck within the process because everything depends on you as the attorney. So let's have fun. If you listen to my pocket coaching podcast, hang out with me, you know I'm a huge fan of gamification and having fun with it. What's the worst thing that happens? You can always take them back. Okay. Number one. Number two, you can have the calendar. So if somebody calls tomorrow, they don't have to wait for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks or months to see the attorney. They get an appointment immediately. And time kills all deals. So even if it comes from a referral source, everybody loves you, you're the best in town, what have you, at some point, somebody else is going to beat you out with their Facebook ads, their SEO, their pay-per-click, or what have you. And because they have not exchanged money or even got to experience your law firm, and they can go in for a free consultation with, Joe Schmo down the street or what have you, like, well, what's to lose? They have time right now, so let me go in. And if they have a killer non-attorney salesperson and they have a killer process, they're going to engage with them. And then they may cancel or they may reschedule your appointment or what have you, and then they're booked out for too far. So I'm really proud of the attorneys in the program that are saying, okay, something has to give because we cannot grow and scale at this pace. I'm willing to try it on as long as you, Molly, are going to hold our hand every step of the process. And we're okay if the conversion rate even drops 20%. Because guess what? The next day, this person's got 10 consultations, and if only 5 of them hire, that's 5 more hires than you would have because you can't see the next prospect for 3 weeks. So it's so exciting. The team, they're excited that they get to move into this new role as a non-attorney salesperson. I'm not really a fan of that terminology. I wanted to be in the client's perspective, so we're playing with different terminologies. And is it a client success coordinator? We're playing with different terms right now. This is really new. I've had 3 people this week that stepped up, so stay tuned. I'm going to continue to report as a case study around how this goes. But I know this. I know law firms that in recruiting, we place non-attorney salesperson people all the time. Their conversion rates are getting to be higher than the attorneys, number one. Number two, they're able to see more people quicker, faster. So if we're even only converting at 50% today, well, that's okay. That might have been 80% 6 weeks from now, but from a business perspective, from a revenue perspective, we're okay with this. And chances are we can have the attorney do the second round of meeting that, yeah, they were qualified, but you know what, I may have killed the deal or what have you. So we bring them in for a second meeting, a half of a meeting. It's only 30 minutes, a 15-minute Zoom. The attorney makes a loom that goes back to them, whatever it might be. Because the name of the game is 2-millimeter shifts and 1% better than yesterday. And this is how we all grow. And just maybe as they go through this process, have faith in your team that they have the $1 million suggestion for improving scripts, processes, prospecting that you never thought of. They now have the time and space and grace to go back to marketing and give them what we call Law Firm Admin Bootcamp, yesterday's news, to figure out about what the targeting and what we're doing to get people in the room, give them the exact words when the objections of why they didn't hire, so then we could have content for blogs and videos and what have you to speak into people's listening. For those that did hire, we're like, find us more avatars exactly like this. These are the exact words they use. So now they're part of the marketing team as well, because you've been in it for so long. You only know what you've known, and you've only done what you've been able to do. And now we get to expand this in such a massive way. And it's really, really fun. And now you have a non-attorney salesperson that's able to invest and go into our 9-module intake academy, to go into our sales and conversions academy, to spend time and really invest and constantly upload. Now that everything they see is sales and conversion, and they're digesting it, and now they're bringing new tricks, tips, techniques, psychology into the program. We are kicking off in September an emotional intelligence 3-month program in law firm admin bootcamp. And we are going to train the team members, whether they're on intake, whether they're in the conference room, whether they're closing, right, whether they're writing marketing copy, internal dialogue, conflict, what have you. And we're going to train them really how to walk, talk, and behave and spot how they can speak into other people's listening in a way that makes a difference. So if your calendar is so jammed up and so packed, that's not good news. Not in this day and age. If people can't call in and get, now you have proof of concept that you're the best that you are. So you have nothing to lose to try this on. So go to your team. Go to your client service coordinator, intake coordinators. You probably have a sleeping giant in your room. Book a call with me, bring them on there and say, okay, we're shaking in our boots, but we're willing to play. How do we unpack this? And for the team members that are stepping up, I'm so proud of you all, and I cannot wait to see your data and metrics, and hopefully we're going to crush your attorneys' conversion rates. So they're going to say, great, I'm giving them all to you. So trust your team. Invest in your team. Give them opportunities for growth. They're silently waiting to step up and lead, give you relief so you can move into your best activities and really step into becoming the chief visionary officer of your business.
We've reached the end of yet another episode of the Hire and Empower with Molly McGrath podcast, where dream teams of entrepreneurs in an entrepreneur's world really do come true. Listen, whether you're a business owner, employee, executive, or hiring manager, we fully understand hiring, onboarding, and leadership is expensive, exhausting, often overwhelming, and absolutely time-consuming for the already taxed professional. Well, we have your back on all fronts. For 25 years and counting, we have transformed over 4,000 law firm teams into the most efficient, resourceful, and profitable asset of your business. Check out our Smart Hire solution, our employee leadership program, and the 66-day law firm turnaround at hiringandempowering.com.